Popoff from the Contrarians here, back with another kind of solo rant, solo show. You know, these ideas just come into my mind. Gray hair metal. What is that? I mean, this is a term that doesn't make sense. Nobody has ever said gray hair metal, but my cheeky idea here is that I'm going to tell you about 12 hair metal albums you need to own. Late period hair metal albums, post-grunge hair metal albums, post-Nirvana hair metal albums. Back, it's no longer in print, but I did this really cool book I liked, a timeline and quotes book called The Big Book of Hair Metal. And I ended it in 1991. I ended it September 1991 with the release of Nirvana's Nevermind, because it's just a sort of an agreed upon time for the death of hair metal. It had been in decline already. Grunge had really kind of picked up and started for real 88, 89, 90. Nirvana, when I say post-Nirvana, Bleach is 1989. But not all of these albums are strictly speaking post Nevermind. But every album I'm going to talk about here is 1991 or newer kind of thing. The reason I bring up the Big Book of Hair Metal is I kind of regretted ending it in 91 because I've had some back and forth lately with people, and I even thought of doing a book on this, right? But I think what happens is once grunge comes up, I think most hair metal bands say we have to raise our game. This is pretty interesting, exciting, cool music, better lyrics, more creative, different. We have to raise our game. Some kind of tried to do their grungy album, and some just tried to make a better version of a hair metal album. And so I think that's why you've got better albums at this point. Again, I've done this in my audio podcast, History in 5 Songs with Martin Popoff. Just Google it, check that out. It's over 40 locations apparently. It's easy to find. But I've done like 308 episodes of that or so. So one of them was all about this idea, and it's one of my favorite ones, called Go to Vancouver and Try Harder, where there's this idea that later on bands make the pilgrimage to Vancouver and work with Bob Rock or Bruce Fairbairn or at Little Mountain, or what's the other one called? Anyways, bands go there and they kind of make better versions. Their best album, there's usually cleaning up, getting sober involved with it as well. And they go there, less distractions, and they make a very good album. So the idea here is that these are records that are much better than the standard old hair metal fare. I think so, because I think they do improve, and I think they are inspired by the creativity of grunge. So without further ado, let's go. Gray hair metal album. So starting off, we're going to do these in reverse order. I've got Skid Row, Slave to the Grind. What did I do here? I'm doing a dozen, right? Yeah, 12. So number 12, Skid Row, Slave to the Grind. This is the follow-up to the self-titled debut, which is absolutely hair metal album. I don't care what Baz says. It's so hair metal, it's not funny. But Slave to the Grind, they get heavier. They get even a little thrashier or speed metal or a little up tempo. The production is crushing on it. Baz is just killing it with putting more hair on his voice. But it's still a little Aerosmithy, maybe a little grungy and stuff. But yeah, they just come up with something a little more vicious, delicious. It's a little bit like Warrant coming out with Dog Eat Dog kind of thing. Number 11, I've got Bullet Boys Freak Show. I really like the Bullet Boys. It's the baby Van Halen, but they're a very good quality version of it. Ted Templeman gets involved with them as well. But I think this is an exciting, interesting band. Great vocals, heavy, great production, and their second album is really cool. I really like Zaza as well, the third album. Next, I've got Slaughter at number 10, The Wildlife. I've always liked that Slaughter sound, that Dana Strum, screechy, high, eccentric production sound. It's there on the first album, but this is an actually more, the album's called The Wildlife, and it's kind of like a wild version of that. They are really disconnected and all over the place. It's very Van Halen-esque. It's kind of like over the top, almost like tasteless playing, but it just kind of works. And same with the screaming. Mark Slaughter's voice is almost like a metaphor for Dana Strum's production. I just bought into this band for a weird reason. I don't know why. It's almost like they were even more hair metal than everybody else, but late in the game. So they're arriving late. but you know, they're still in that mature period where they actually still have some success with this as well, right? Number 9, I've got Enough's Enough Strength, the second Enough's Enough album. I love this band. I love the fact that they're kind of like a hair metal version of Cheap Trick or the Beatles, a little bit of King's X in there as well. I just think they're a really interesting little Elvis Costello in there. But yeah, just a really good melodic, like I say, Cheap Trick-esque band, also out of Chicago. Kick Tracy at number 8, No Rules. Kick Tracy are the Baby Slaughter. And I think what you get here is, again, that very, very extreme Slaughter-esque production. But I buy into the songwriting and the personality a little more with Kick Tracy. They only made the one album. They've got the EP as well, and that's it. But I think they captured this idea of, well, like I say, sometimes I don't mind getting a baby band of another band, especially when I like the original bands. So Slaughter is the original, Kick Tracy is the baby band. I think they do a good job of it. Number 7, I've got an old school band in here with a hair metal album, Kiss Revenge. I really think this is probably my favorite Kiss album. It might be my second or third favorite Kiss album of all time. I put Destroyer first, but I think, you know, Bob Ezrin comes back and he does nothing like Bob Ezrin usually does. He just gets this really good, heavy, tough production, no nonsense songs, just basically Kiss's very best hair metal songs. This is just absolutely blows away. Crazy Nights, Crazy Nights, and Hot in the Shit from. I'm losing my mind, right? The previous two, right? And I do like Asylum, and I do like Animalize, and I do like Lick It Up, and I do like Creatures in the Night. But Creatures of, see, here we go again. Anyways, I think this is the best of that whole run, the most capable, well put together, well produced, and I think the songwriting is so. This is truly a boy, we got to try harder kind of thing, and the band looks great too. The band shots associated with this. Number 6, I've got Saigon Kick, the Lizard. This is a little bit of a cheater because Saigon Kick lean us a little bit into the idea of grunge and alternative metal. So they are a little bit of a hybrid band. It is still hair metal. They're also doing a little bit of that Cheap Trick, Enough's Enough thing as well. There's beautiful vocal harmonies involved with this band. So this is their second album. The first one I really liked as well, the self-titled, but The Lizard is really cool. Great title. But yeah, it is a little bit moving away from hair. You know, the other band that this reminds me of, this is almost like a hair metal version of Jane's Addiction, right? Number 5, I've got Tesla, Psychotic Supper. Always got lots of time for Tesla. Love Bust a Nut as well, 1994. But this is Psychotic Supper, 91. By the way, I should have said this along the way. Skid Row is 91, Bullet Boys is 91, Slaughter's 92, Enough's Enough 91, Kick Tracy 91, Kiss Revenge 92, Saigon Kick, The Lizard 92, so Tesla's Psychotic Supper 91. I like this much more than the earlier material. I like it a little more than Bust a Nut, but Bust a Nut would be my second favorite. I think this band is like the bluesy Bad Company, but also weirdly all the best things you love about Def Leppard, High and Dry, all mixed into a hair metal situation. They're from upstate in California, right? So they're not right there in LA. Everybody kind of liked them. They were reviewed well. They consider them a little more real, a little more soulful, and they kind of are. But it is still very, very glossy and well put together. And like I say, it's got a lot of Def Leppard in there as well. But and heavy, they could be very heavy at times too. So yeah, I think that's an amazing record. Number 4, I've got Badlands, Voodoo Highway. So here we've got the great Jackyl. The first album I like even better, but it's too early to put on this list. Voodoo Highway is 91. They only made the 2 albums. There is kind of like demo-y stuff that comes out later. But they only got the 2 official albums. Now this is them being even more bluesy and more eccentric and more funky. But I think it's an amazing record. It's got this visceral, lively, analog 70s kind of production feel. It sounds like a band playing live together. Great singing as well, of course. But yeah, it's absolutely the idea of the first one's a little more Whitesnake, and this is a little more well, I think it's just James Gang cover on it, right? But a little more James Gang, a little more Humble Pie, right? So this is an example of bands making a shift a little bit away from hair metal because this grunge thing is blowing up, right? Number 3, I've got Love Hate Let's Rumble, 1993. So they're already dropping down. I think they're on RCA / something else on this. A little bit of a weird album cover. Looks like a hardcore album. But yeah, still an amazing, rough, cool, Jizzy Pearl performance on these tough rock and rolling songs, sleazy hair metal. I've always come up with that, that as we get through there, Guns N' Roses kicks off this idea of sleazy hair metal, dirty hair metal, bluesy hair metal, right? Today we're talking gray hair metal, which I just made up this morning. But like I say, this is all your late. It just means later, right? But yeah, I think this is a great album. They're already semi an indie band, kind of in a way. But I think it's still a tough, sleazy, decadent sort of album. It really captures, what I want out of Guns N' Roses, but I get even more out of Love Hate. Number 2. Surprising one. I'm going all the way up to 1997 for this one. Jackyl, Cut the Crap. Man, I play this record all the time. It's my favorite Jackyl album for sure. It's got that pretty crappy album cover, literally. But yeah, the songs on here, Jesse James Dupree is just, it's got so much personality. An Atlanta band. You feel the Southern rock roots in this band. You feel the AC/DC in this band. This has the duet with Brian Johnson on it, which is incredible. I think it's called Locked and Loaded. Yeah, just track after track of super fun rockin', Southern rockin', almost Kiss-like hair metal. I think it's an absolute masterpiece. I just can't get enough of it. Play it all the time. Number 1, this was never going to be in doubt. We have 2 through 12, and this record craps on them all from a height of several miles. Love Hate Wasted in America, absolute genius. Masterpiece start to finish. It's ambitious, it's complicated, it's beautifully but still decadently and roughly recorded. It's performed with absolute precision. It's sleazy. The lyrics are amazing. Jizzy Pearl, every track on here, so much cool experimentation going on, incredible bass lines, surprises around every corner, and yet still it captures that magic that the world feels about Appetite for Destruction. But like I say, I think it's even doubled or tripled with this band. And Blackout in the Red Room, at Red Room, Blackout in a Red Room, whatever, 1989, 1990. See, I'm losing my mind, right? But that's a really good album as well. But I feel it's just halfway to this one. This is where they absolutely, capture just everything's firing on all cylinders. So much creativity. I could even say there's even a little touch of Jane's Addiction, but Jane's Addiction pale in comparison to the genius that is Love Hate. So yeah, check out Wasted in America if you have not heard this album. It absolutely should have been the biggest hair metal album of all time. Doesn't even certify as gold because it's just coming way too late, right? But it's just so good. But we are post Nirvana here. I just want to bring up something else here as well. Hearing this record in 92, it does remind you a little bit how Alice in Chains' Facelift is 10% hair metal. Mother Love Bone, Apple is 25% hair metal. So, and we know Alice in Chains before that were even more hair metal, right? So there is this transition period that we don't really get to see with some of these grunge bands. And to my mind, Love Hate kind of fits in here as well. You could think of the first album as a little bit more aligned with Mother Love Bone. Another one that kind of fits in here as well is you think of War Babies. I could have put War Babies on this list. Maybe I should have. The great Brad Sinsel, 1992, Sony. So War Babies is another band, and because they're coming from Seattle, that reminds me a little bit. It fits in that whole Mother Love Bone, Love Hate sort of situation. I feel a podcast episode coming on. This sounds like a kind of a neat concept. But anyways, there you go. those are my 12 gray hair metal albums you must own. Please like and subscribe. Let me know what I missed here. I'm very well aware of. I did a lot of research on this one. I looked at a ton of hair metal albums, and these are the ones I wanted to put on here. I did forget War Babies. I do admit that, but yeah, I don't think there's too many that I truly feel like I missed. But let us know. Join our Patreon situation if you want to. Marco sends out a nice list of what asking for suggestions of what albums to do for the Dark Horse series. So you can be on our panels as well. If you join Patreon, check out my audio podcast, History in 5 Songs with Martin Popoff. Check out martinpopoff.com for my 100 or so rock books that are in print. And I sign them, send them out from my office here. But there you go. There is some late period hair metal stuff. Hair metal, I think, did a great job after grunge broke. I think this is where you get the best records. And there you go. Those are my 12 favorites.